Okay, everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm super excited to talk with you today about living a natural lifestyle with doTERRA. And this is all about DIYs, do it yourself, and helping you detox your home. And it's crazy on how many chemicals that we have in our home. And we've been going through and doing a lot of conversation around detoxing and whatnot. So I thought, why not really do a deep dive and showing you some of the products that you can make in place of what you have. So, just a little bit about us. Larry and I have been married, I think it's more than 33 years now. I think we're probably more on 35. And I struggled with major food allergies, and probably through working at the print shop with all the chemicals and all the stress and everything that I was going through, my body was starting to deteriorate from health. I had major stomach issues going on, and I was really an emotional wreck. I think when people would talk to me, I'd bite their head off, and it was not very fun. And I was just feeling really hopeless. It was very difficult to find and climb my way out of the hole that seemed like it was never ending. And I started doing doTERRA in June of 2013. So we're coming up here on a 13-year anniversary, coming on 14 years. And a girlfriend of mine introduced me to the Digestion blend one day at the shop. And I looked at her and told her she was crazy. How could snake oils help me when none of the doctors could? But she stuck in there with me and was patient, thank goodness, and she changed my life. So we sold our print shop and decided to do doTERRA full time and really help change the world. And so here we are today, and looking forward to sharing with you this healthy lifestyle. Like, of course, down at the bottom of this nutrition chart is the nutrition and digestion. It's the foundation of everything. If your body's not getting the nutrients for it to function properly, you're not going to be able to exercise. Your sleep is probably out of whack. You're probably an emotional mess. So, so many people today are struggling with that. We can look at lots of statistics and go through how messed up we are as a society, and it really globally. And it just seems like um, just getting back to the roots, getting back to the basics and simplifying our life is so important. And that's what we're doing here today is we're looking at the informed self-care. We're looking at what we can do to take on and take control of our health. And we're not saying replace the doctors, but sometimes I feel like it. But our doctors are still important, getting your blood work done and making sure that something serious is not happening or whatever. But we're telling ourselves to be proactive, using these oils, be proactive. And when we run to the doctor for a flu or a cold or something, it's because we're being reactive. And so let's try to be proactive and really take on these oils and make a difference in our life or our family.
Not so long ago, ingredients were legible, fragrances were real, cleaning products were safe, and cheese was, well, cheese. Yes, once upon a time, products were actually products of nature. But over the last century, industry after industry abandoned the source for synthetics and purity for profit. But what does it mean for your health? Concern is mounting over the risks of toxic load. For the most part, bodies are quite adept at filtering and flushing toxins, which is important since some toxins are not easily avoided. The human body can only filter and flush so much before the load takes a physical toll. Though you can't control many everyday environmental toxins, you can purge the hundreds of toxins lurking in your own cabinets and drawers. Indeed, studies have found that just a squirt of common air freshener releases close to 100 contaminants. Many perfumes and colognes contain phthalates, which emerging science suggests may be linked to reproductive and development issues. Most products used to clean the home should probably come with a full protective suit. It wasn't always this way, and it doesn't have to be. Pure and effective products do exist that bring the best of nature into your everyday routines. The choice is yours. doTERRA. Pursue what's pure.
I absolutely love that video. It just does a powerful way of talking about how our bodies are able to really work and filter out some of these toxins, but we as we age, we need more assistance and things slow down more. And um, so today we're going to be talking again about natural self-care. And this is like detoxing the home, all the things around us that can make a difference. So again, just like that video, we talked about many of the products that we have in our home have so many chemicals in them. And they're stresses to our liver, our hormones, and, like I was saying, our mood. And I think even with the metabolic imbalances and making our body dis-ease, which is so important to be able to go through and see what we can throw out underneath our cabinets and cupboards, and I've been doing that, and I made some amazing dish soap that I'm absolutely loving. And I made a liquid dish soap, and we're just having a lot of fun using that same paste. And it's a paste that you can put in water and actually it turns into laundry soap or even the foamy pump soap. So there's so many different things that we can do to try to eliminate some of those products. Um, so a woman usually puts average of about 168 chemicals and men about 85 chemicals in personal care products that we use on a day-to-day basis. So before you leave your house, hairspray, makeup, lotions, whatever, shampoos, all those different things all total up to so many chemicals that we put on our body. And we're seeing a lot more information about even the polyester that we put on, the shirts that we wear, that I absolutely love because they're so soft and comfortable and they stretch, but they're so bad for our bodies. We got those microplastics that are going into our bodies. So, um, seems like it's never ending. So there's the dirty dozen, and here's a lot of these chemicals that you find in a lot of these products. And so you can do a screenshot of this. I'm not going to be able to pronounce half of them. And but it's endless really. And when we were talking about sugar, like when we were talking about eating sugar and whatnot, all the different names of sugar, like there's probably all these different names that they hide these chemicals in a lot of these products as well. But when you look at some of the products, you can look on the back and they have these danger warning um, symbols, right? And it's crazy if you think about it. It's like danger, harmful or fatal if swallowed. A taste to a teaspoon taken by mouth could kill an average size adult. That's just a danger warning. I mean, that's just like, then we got the warning, where it's harmful if swallowed, a teaspoon to an ounce taken by mouth could kill an average size adult. Like, what? And then harmful, caution is harmful if swallowed an ounce to over a pint taken by mouth could kill an average size adult. So it's just a different percentages or whatnot that make a difference in that. And in other words, it could kill you no matter what you do. Did you know that there's a danger warning on your toothpaste if you're using Crest toothpaste? You're not supposed to swallow that. Why are you putting it in your mouth then? And so we really want to go through and look at all the different stuff, like all the bug sprays. I mean, I kind of cleaned out my garage cabinet. Some of the stuff was so old, you guys, and I think you really want to often get rid of those things. And every once in a while, like the city of Bellingham will accept some of those old chemicals and whatnot. You just don't want to flush them down the toilet. It's not a good idea. So, the truth bomb. Now, this is something that I thought was pretty amazing to think about. When people go to the grocery store, they complain about the grocery bill being $150 is too expensive. I remember going to the grocery store when Larry and I first got married, $100 we'd get 3 or 4 grocery bags, right? And then now $100 doesn't even cover one grocery bag half the time. It's just so crazy. And when we think about how expensive that is, but we can go to a restaurant and spend $150 and think it's reasonable. And I think that's crazy, actually. But if you go to a month, if you are talked to about a month of supplements, which is about $80 for the VMG, people say they can't afford it, but they can go out and have a drinking night or fun with friends, and $80 is sometimes a weekly occurrence for people. Now, I know some people who have to go to Starbucks every day, and I'm like, really? And I don't even think $7 covers that. Um, but they think that's worth it. But they won't spend $3 a day, or what is it, $1.50 for a VMG packet. They think that's too expensive. So when we really look at what choices are we making on a day-to-day basis regarding what's good for our bodies and what's not. Like I like this last one here. 60 minutes at the gym. I wish I had time. Sandy, I admire you go to the gym all the time. I was going to go for my 5 mile walk today, and I'm like, I just don't have time. I got my class tonight, blah, blah, blah. And, um, and then I found myself on Facebook, checking things out for another half hour. And, that's how it goes, right? What kind of decisions are we making? So everything is a choice. And when I do my counseling, I always hold up two pens, chocolate or vanilla, choose. And the whole conversation is around we have reasons, and the reasons are why we choose to do one thing or another. And a lot of time, those reasons are lies to ourselves and what has us not have what we want in our life. The reason why I go through all that is that these reasons are, for me, very easy to choose. Like these top 10 oils are incredible. And remembering to use them every day, sometimes it's not so easy. So, trying to find habits and things that we can put them in different areas of our home so they're quick to grab, easy to remember, and so on. So, just for those who are new looking at this video for the first time, this is part of the modern approach, like going through and looking at the pharmaceuticals or all the chemicals or all the lotions that you can buy at the pharmacy, or you can do the natural approach. And actually, the essential oils go after the root cause, which is so powerful. I was talking to somebody last night and they're like, well, you could just smell them, right? How do they work when you smell them to help you? And I'm like, he was asking about some different health concerns. And I'm like, yeah, you can actually put them on topically. You could take them internally. You could do this. And he's like, no way. And I said, most of the time you go to the pharmacy, they make you take these pills for the rest of your life because you're sentenced to have diabetes or you're sentenced to MS or whatever those health concerns are. And we want to actually go after the root cause. So, part of the products we're going to talk about today help us continually supporting our body instead of insulting our body, but we're going to go after the root cause as well. Um, so, when we're doing like lotions and you put essential oils in, that lotion actually has the essential oils that is going to actually go through to our body and penetrate the cell wall. So, you can smell the oils, you can diffuse the oils, you can take them internally, you can put them on topically. All these ways will actually work to penetrate the cell wall. And what's so great about the oils is that they're supercharged. So one drop of peppermint is really powerful. Like I love putting peppermint in my soaps. I love putting peppermint in my lotions because it just kind of wakes you up. I do little shower bombs that are spearmint and peppermint, just a nice way to uplift myself in the morning, get myself energized. So the experience of doTERRA's quality compared to other essential oils or other perfume oils out there in the market, ours are potent, pure, and safe. And because they're so pure, they're so incredible. You can do so many things. We go through and work with our third party company that does all the testing. And we also have a lab at the office in Utah, which is incredible. And they do 60 to 120 different kinds of tests depending on the different oil. And the reason why that's important is some oils, like cassia, it's really easy to hide um, the chemical compounds in cassia to make it fake. I mean, you when you go through and test it, so you have to do more tests to ensure that the purity of that oil is there. So doTERRA created the phrase certified pure tested grade to raise the bar of um, efficacy, I guess is the word I want, regarding the quality of our oils. No other company can actually even come close. We have all of our testing transparent. Everybody can look at their oils on the bottom of each roller bottle or single oil. There's going to be a code where you can actually go to a website and check out the actual testing. No other company can do that. I actually had somebody show me another essential oil company brand in India, and their website wasn't even working. Um, so anyway, yeah. So here's our test, our website where you can actually go in, type in this number that's on the bottom of the bottle, and you can bring up actually that testing for that. Okay, again, we were talking about aromatically, topically, internally are the ways that we can use these oils. So topically is what we're going to focus on today, and we're just going to jump right in. So you can see in this picture, we have a whole bunch of different materials you can get. We've got roller bottles, spray bottles, little jars, and whatnot. And most of the time, we like to work with glass because a lot of our potions could come up with a citrus oil, and those tend to eat away at the plastics. So you want to be mindful of what the recipe is that you're going to work with. We also like to look at a double boiler. And with my team in India, they didn't know what a double boiler was. I couldn't believe it. So I went on their Amazon India looking for a double boiler. You think I could find one? It was crazy. So this is the closest double boiler I could find, which is pretty nice. And so I purchased that, and it's there at one of my friends, my Indian friend's house, so that when I share with them how to actually make these products and stuff, we've got the tools right there. Okay, so again, we like to use glass. You can buy a lot of these things on Amazon, um, and finding other glass suppliers. We like to go to Hobby Lobby, find some unique little things, or SKS Industries has some products that are really fun to purchase. Um, Okay, now when you're looking at the oils, just as a breakdown here, we have these little symbols that you'll find with each oil on the website. And these symbols will tell you if you can put it on internally, if you can take it or put it on topically, or if you can take it internally, or if you can use it aromatically. And this is really important to go through and make sure as you're putting your recipes together. You want to use a good carrier oil. We love our doTERRA fractionated coconut oil. A carrier oil such as jojoba, I hope I'm saying that right, almond oil. We also have avocado oil. There's many different types of oils that you can use as a base. Some of these oils are thicker, some of them are much thinner. Fractionated coconut oil has a unique texture to it where it's very thin and it can actually absorb into the skin, and it actually will hold like a band-aid the oils so they won't flash off. And some of these other oils might be too thick to put, say, into a roller bottle. So kind of be mindful. I don't like some of the base oils because it kind of could be drying to my skin too. And fractionated coconut oil seems to be a nice balance for that. You always want to do a skin patch. Now, this is on here because some people have super extra sensitive skin, which is important to be mindful for. So I always kind of tell people to just put a little bit on and just to see if it's going to be okay. I have yet to really have anybody have any issues with any of the roller bottles that I've made. I've done a blend for diabetes that has cassia in it, which could be considered a hot oil. And even though it's diluted, when you use it over and over again, like on the softness or the thin part of your skin on your neck, it can cause some sensitivity over prolonged use. So try to mix it up. You can put it on the bottom of your feet or do different things like that. Okay, so here's some dilution also. So down here we're talking about some dilution type of recipes here, but I like looking at a chart. To me, this seems to be a little bit more easier to look at. I get this question a lot. You can Google dilution charts for doTERRA and you'll find lots of them, and they all kind of are a little bit different. And to me, well, everybody's a little bit different. You can look at a 5-year-old child and they could look like they're 3 years old because they're bigger and heavier and, taller or something. And so kind of go by the weight and kind of go by what you feel as far as the activity and the sensitivity that your child may have just naturally. And start out smaller, and then you can always add more to it as you work with the child. So if you're working with like maybe a baby, then one drop to say 1 ml bottle to 10 ml bottle, like or 2 teaspoons of carrier oil, for example. Okay, so that's not very much at all, right? That's really small. When you think about a drop is good for us adults that were a little bigger than a baby, then that is a pretty good ratio if you think about the weight and the size that a baby could be. Now, these essential oils are also fine for women who are pregnant um, and stuff. You want to be mindful of and look up some of the oils that may be like fennel might induce labor. So there's a couple of them there that you want to look up if you're looking for pregnant women or elderly people. Again, here's the coconut oil. Love, love, love our coconut oil. Oh, and we also have, which I should add to this, our um, castor, cast, castor oil. And the castor oil is an incredible product, and I absolutely love it. I had a party at my house, and I actually sell jars or big bottles of castor oil, and I infused them with frankincense and cassia and the Metapower blend for helping with those problem areas on our legs that have tend to be a little bumpy from too much excess of eating chocolate. And so it's really good. And I sold two of those on Sunday. So people absolutely love the castor oil. So always consider, depending on maybe if you're working on a skin issue or whatnot, that you can change it up a little bit. Here's another screenshot of, I have this book of all the different types of base oils that are available out there in the marketplace and what they're good for. So, like this one here talks about apricot oil. It has high fatty acids, really good vitamins of A, C, and E. And this one here, when you're making soap and stuff, it could be um, making the bar more hard. It's a harder bar. And avocado oil, the bars tend to be softer, and you want to use a certain percentage of of the mixture that you're doing. So when I was reading this the very first time, I didn't realize that some oils are more drying for the skin and some oils are more moisturizing. So when you're looking at making these roller bottles or these different blends and lotions, take that in mind if you tend to have more oily skin or whatnot, okay? Now, when we're making these recipes, you can look up recipes in these beautiful books that we have. We also have apps on our phone, and I'll show you those screenshots here in a minute. But when you're looking up recipes, write them down. Mom and I have a really good experience when we went through and made a restless leg recipe a long, long time ago. Remember that, Mom? And when we made that recipe, it worked really well for you. And then we didn't write it down. We couldn't remember what we put in that recipe.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever actually came up with that again, that it worked so well the first time, right? And
Yeah.
and so really write those down. And I like to take these little dots of oils and write down the actual number of drops you have in each roller bottle and just stick them on here. It's a nice way to do that so that you can remember very easily. I always like to take shipping tape and stick over the top of it so it won't rub off or fade or something. Okay, so where do you find the recipes? So we have these great books, and if you haven't enrolled yet today, we would love to be able to offer you one of these books if you order 150 dollars worth of stuff and set up your loyalty reward template for the following month. Usually, when people are ordering like the vitamins, minerals, and greens, and the E omegas, and a set of oils, you can get to that pretty well. And it's an incredible book. This is a beautiful book. They actually stopped printing it for a couple of years during the pandemic, and then they realized people complained so much that they started printing them again. So we're really happy about that. My favorite app for the phone, and you must have an app on your phone because always when I'm out to dinner with a girlfriend or traveling, the conversation of health concerns always comes up, and I have it right there with me. I may not be packing this book around with me at all times, but I do have the app on my phone, and I can just look up a health concern and give people recommendations, and then go from there. So it's really great to have. What's really nice about this app too is it has testimonies, and sometimes reading those testimonies, it's really powerful because you can really see what worked for some people and what didn't work. And I learned a lot about it in that respect. So, okay, and we also have a blog. So doTERRA's blog is incredible. And look at this face mask. I'm gonna have to make that someday. That's kind of fun. We can make sunscreens. You can even do Play-Doh, which is really fun for kids and whatnot. So lots of fun things. We also have a Pinterest page where there's tons of recipes on that. Oh my gosh, you guys, tons of recipes. And then this emotions app is also something to take into consideration. So I know when I was dealing with my stomach issues, um, in the emotion, so you can look up the body issue, and stomach issues comes up with not able to digest the stress, right? And so you can always throw in a couple more oils into your blends to be able to help support the emotion as well as the body concern. Okay, so here we go. Here we are. This is going to be a heavy screenshot day. Feel free to take a screenshot. This recipe could be on the handout that I have linked in this recording. So you can go ahead and download that too for free. And but this is a hand foaming cleaner. And you can take 2 tablespoons of castile soap, and you can buy castile soap at like on Amazon or at a local store. Like we have it here in Bellingham at our Wacom Co-op store. I believe it's also at Sprouts. It's also at Trader Joe's, things like that. Um, I actually have made, like I was mentioning earlier, made my own base soap, which is like a castile soap that I can use to put in like little hand foaming pumps or in my all-purpose cleaner. So whenever you see castile soap, know that you can use your own liquid soap that you can make. Um, Now, this one also takes some FCO, fractionated coconut oil, and then you can choose 10 drops of any EO that you like. The highest recommendation, of course, is On Guard because On Guard is a beautiful blend for antiviral, antibacterial, all those great things. And it's really good for cleaning surfaces and stuff like that too. So lemon and tea tree always makes a really nice smell. You know, another oil that's really good to use would be lemongrass. Now, some people don't care for the smell of lemongrass like that, but it is really a beautiful oil for cleaning surfaces and stuff. Okay, now here is a salve base, and I make a salve. I call it First Mate Repair, and Cindy, she calls it her healing salve. And this is something where this is the base, meaning when you do avocado oil or olive oil, beeswax, and coconut oil, you melt it down in a double boiler, and once it's all melted down, you take it off the heat and you let it start to cool before you actually add essential oils to it. Now, this recipe is the Immortal Healing Salve with these oils in it. It's really great for cuts, bruises, burns, things like that. But you can also make other salves, like maybe a Vicks Vapor Rub would have like breathe oil in it. So you can use that for that kind of purpose. Or maybe you want to do something for other things like detoxing, like I make one with activated charcoal in it, where it's going to actually detox and pull things out of like a cut or a sore, or maybe you got a sliver or a bee sting or something like that. Now here's a sugar scrub, and this is really fun. I absolutely love sugar scrubs. And one of the things that I discovered, which is really fun, is to add soap to the sugar scrub. So you can add like the Castile soap to the sugar scrub, or you can take some melt and pour soap and just do a little bit and add it to it. And it actually gives it a whole nother texture. And it actually, you know how sugar, it just doesn't stick to your skin very well. Well, this soap will actually make it stick to your skin better, where you can actually do a nice job, uh, sandpapering your skin with the sugar. I used to think, what a crazy thing using sugar. It seems like your skin will get really sticky. Well, Terry May told me that the acid that's in the sugar will actually eat away at the dead skin on your body. And that's what I'm like, wow, I never knew that. But that's what makes your hands so soft and stuff. So there is a reason why the sugar is used for this. You can use baking soda if you like. I don't tend to use baking soda. And then you can make it look really pretty by adding herbs and florals. Like this one here has some seeds of the lavender, or you can put rose petals in there, something like that. So you can make lots of different kinds of sugar scrubs. There's a coffee sugar scrub. Do I have those recipes here? Yes, I do. So here's Terry's Feet Treat sugar scrub. She makes it with brown sugar and turbinado sugar. And anyway, this whole recipe is really great for like the really thick skin on the bottom of your feet. It really makes your feet really soft and yummy. She really likes using lime and ginger. And then I like making a sugar scrub too, where you do still use the brown sugar. You can use coffee grounds and then add the fractionated coconut oil. What's really nice in here is the Madagascar vanilla and peppermint. And then we've got the herbal tea scrub, which you can go through and maybe pick some of the herbs off your garden, like maybe basil or rosemary, peppermint leaves, and just kind of add them to that along with the essential oils too. And it just is kind of nice and herbally. Now, here's a lip balm, which is kind of like the same recipe for the healing salve, but you're using more beeswax, and that's really important to know. And you can mix up the different base oils too. I've actually been using tallow as one of my bases in this recipe, and you can use different micas or natural colorants. I found a supplier you can buy natural colorants from Brambleberry and I got some of those. I haven't tried them yet. I've been actually playing with the idea of doing um, different colorants from the flowers in the garden and stuff on different flowers that are edible, which is really pretty fun. Okay, now I have a video on how to make melt and pour soap, and this is kind of a fun video. I'm such a dork when I do these things. And I think this video's got like over 1,000 views on it, which is really shocking. It's really fun. Um, talk about different molds and how I like to put the scents in them. And so if you want to watch that down the road, I'm not going to go through all that today. And then we've got this recipe, which is really easy to do. You take a double boiler for lotion and you put avocado in there, stearic acid and citric acid. Stearic acid is like a stabilizer for the to keep it from molding, and citric acid is a stabilizer. Stearic acid is like a thickener, so it's going to help thicken it. And then I like to take 1 and 1/4 cups of hot water, and that's a thicker or 2 cups for a pump. And so what you want to do is you want to melt the first one, two, three, four ingredients, melt them all together and stir it really good, and then take it off the stove and then add the hot water to it and then take a mixer. I like to use my handheld mixer and it turns white immediately. And it doesn't take very long for it to thicken up as it cools. I like to take the pan and put it in a ice bath, and that way it makes it cool a lot faster. Then, of course, add whatever essential oil you want to put in there. So, what is the health concern that you're working on? Maybe you have leg cramps. You can add lemongrass. You can add balance and cypress in that, and that would be a beautiful oil lotion to use for leg cramps. Or maybe you want to work on cellulite or work on um, varicose veins. Maybe you want to work on maybe some of the skin spots and stuff that you may have. There's tons of recipes that you can go through and find out what's going to be best for you. This actually will make, it actually makes, depending on how many cups you put in there, it will make about 15 ounces. Um, and so this is a good bottle size. I have one right here. This is 8 ounces, so it actually makes two of these. So that's a good size to do. I find that it's a little too thick still, even with 2 cups, and I actually put more cups than that. I think I go up to 4 cups to make this, and look at how thick it is. It's still really thick. So I'll show you how thick. It's pretty thick. So nice. Okay, next is the deodorant. Do you know that a lot of deodorants have aluminum in it, and that aluminum is found to know to cause breast cancer? When you're putting deodorant on your armpits, that's right there where the lymphatic system is. Such a very sensitive area. There's a reason why you sweat there. It's a release of toxins, right? And here we are putting deodorant on to stop it from doing that. It's crazy. Um, so the doTERRA has a deodorant, and I think it does a really good job keeping you from being smelly, but it doesn't have the ingredients in there to keep you from being wet. So if you tend to sweat a lot and stuff, there are other ingredients that you can actually put in your own homemade deodorant. Bentonite clay is a nice absorption of that kind of thing. And you can also um, I've seen on Facebook people making deodorant with even activated charcoal in it. So there's lots of different things depending on your need and what you're doing. Um, doTERRA has, I think, maybe 2 different scents on their website. And so you can actually even mix it up and do different scents that you like, um, and so on. Okay. Bath salts. Now, bath salts is another way to help detox your body, foot baths, things like that. The bottom of our feet has the largest pores on our skin. And so, if you're able to actually soak your feet periodically. It's really important. I like to use lots of different combinations of different salts. I even include the magnesium flakes in there. And we don't have enough magnesium. And it's really important to be doing this just to help our body get more magnesium by absorbing that. Um, so, pretty cool. The different salt, there's a company in Monroe called Saltworks, and they have big bags of salt that have different size crushed salt. So it's not like the table salt crush, but these are nice and big, and so they take longer to dissolve in the bathtub, which is also pretty nice too. Oops. Okay, so here is something that Cindy's really into, and I'm not so much a person that likes to use nasal inhalers, but this, a lot of people really do. So I didn't want to step over this. Um, Going through and using these inhalers is another way for like people who struggle with the seasonal threats and things like that. You can go through and put um, these have like a little cotton swab in there, and you would drop these different oils on that cotton swab. You can also put some of the salt in there too, as well as the activated charcoal, just a little bit, you guys, and that will actually enhance that effect. And it's just crazy, but people absolutely love this. And so what we did is I showed you how to get the activated charcoal on some cotton swabs, and then you can stick them inside here. Cindy gave me a whole bunch of these, and they didn't have the cotton sticks that go with. Do I have one right here? I think I have one right here. Nope, I don't. But they come with like a little cotton stick, and for some reason, she had a whole bunch that didn't. So we were making and experimenting how to get it act with the activated charcoal. And she says it's a game changer for effectiveness. So if you have somebody who's dealing with allergies and you're going to do the breathe oil, and I would also do a peppermint, lemon, and lavender in there as well. And then have some activated charcoal. You want to dry these out, let them be dry. So the charcoal's dried up in the cotton swab, and then you add the oils to it and stick it in there. Here's some other recipes for the nasal smellies. Um, they're really nice too because you can just keep them in your purse, and they're really easy to use. And she says that you should use the real salt brand and just put a few crystals in there too, 20 or so little salt crystals. So tension relief, if you feel like you have a lot of stress that you're dealing with, this is another great recipe to have with you. And yeah, so antihistamine, seasonal threat one, and so on. Huh. Okay, so I also love to make candles, and candles, Larry won't let me burn them in the house. I don't know, do you guys like candles? He's afraid that I'll forget them and let them burn the house down. And but candles are really fun to have. They're easy to make, and so you can watch the video on how to make candles too. Hot and melt pour soap. You can buy these cubes on Amazon or at Brambleberry. Chop them up into little cubes like cheese, and then you put them in the microwave, or you can melt them on the double boiler. And then you can mix different mineral colorings and mica colorings, and then you pour them in these silicone molds. You guys, the silicone molds are the best. They're so easy to pop the soaps out of, and yeah, pretty inexpensive. It looks like I've got the Indian rupee prices here for India on here. But here's my team in India. This guy, his name is Moa, and he is a silver in India, and he's doing really well right now. He's teaching these ladies how to make soap, and it just warms my heart because to have a guy going around and doing that. He has a whole bunch of aloe vera bushes or plants out of his house, and he'll go out there and he'll chop down a bunch of leaves and he'll mix them up in here, and he's just all about making this work. He's done so well, the actually his daughter made up some stickers to put on his soaps too. So when I was in India last, they were actually selling the soaps at their trade shows and stuff. So this is just a real fun thing to do. Now, Canva, you can go on there and make your labels on Canva. I know, Sandy, you got some different machines that you like to use to make your lotion or your labels on. You got a cute little printer that's super fun. And, but you want to label them. I think it just is a nice way to, I always like to put the date on them too that I made them because you don't want it sitting around for 10 years, you know? And so we also have cooking with the essential oils, and this is an ebook that you can download for cooking. And a lot of people don't think about cooking with them, and I added this um, to the call today that I think it's important so you can know that when you're having a party that you can actually make your little um, products. One of the things that people can make for vendor booths and stuff is like little salt containers. Like Sandy, you got those. I haven't made those for my booth yet. I think it's such a great idea. And you can infuse it with different essential oils and so on. And this is a must-have screenshot because we did a class where we had tomatoes and we put little basil in the tomatoes and this little recipe with this infused salt, and it's absolutely amazing. It's really good. So this is just a nice class sheet that I got from uh, Aromatools, I believe, that had these class sheets. And here are some recipes that you can take if you're going to be doing barbecuing. We have Mother's Day coming up around the corner. Maybe you're going to do a barbecue. Maybe you're going to have something going on for Memorial Day weekend. So here's some really great recipes that would be really fun to use the essential oils to help round out your DIY party and so on. So I hope this was helpful for you guys today. We had a lot of fun talking about all the different things you can do. And if you're not a member yet, why not? Get signed up today. Don't keep waiting. Like we were saying before, you're probably buying that $7 Starbucks every day. So come on, let's get you going with the doTERRA and helping you make a difference in your life. So I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen and turn off the recording. So thanks for joining me.